How's it going, guys? And welcome back to Retrospect, your go-to retro gaming podcast. You're listening to episode 38. Today, we've got a fun one for you guys. We're going to be talking about the PlayStation 1 classics that you should concern yourself with. And joining me as always on the mics, we have the Sultan of Swag, Brandon Saltalamacchia. What's up, dude?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much.
I'm still keeping those intros going, dude. I'm changing the intro every single time for you. This is going to get very, very hard very soon.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're not struggling already. Fair play.
I'm going to start using ones that don't really even pertain to like anything you do. It's just like, you know, the misses with the most, the fashionista. I don't even know what else I would say there. But yeah, man, it's been fun thinking of those. And I'll let you introduce the guests we have on the podcast today.
Yes, we have our newest addition to the scene. You may have seen him on our YouTube channel already, and that is Rob. How you doing, Rob?
Hello, I'm doing all right, thanks. Yeah, all good over here.
You may have seen Rob do the first, he had a look at the Lost Art of Demo Disc, which is an awesome video. For those of you that haven't seen it already, go check out the YouTube channel. And you're working on one as well, which kind of pulls us into our topic, which we'll get onto it later, is the remakes and stuff, the demakes even.
Yeah, I'm doing a video looking at video game demakes, which is interesting. It's where fans sort of deconstruct their favorite games as if they were made for older consoles. So there's quite a lot of interesting stuff that people are doing out there.
So good. I've had a little look at it, and I think it's probably I've seen a few of your videos already, but this is the best one so far. It's so detailed. You give us an insight into games that I wish I knew of. So I think it's going to go down really, really well.
I hope so. And I hope the videos just keep getting better.
That would be the hope. Same with the podcast. Yeah, Rob, I feel like the videos that I've watched, you have like almost an encyclopedic attention to detail in terms of like things that you pull out and capture and show. It's a lot of work. How long does like a video normally take you think?
I would say the bigger projects probably take me like, I don't know, depending on how long the game is that I'm playing or how many games I'm playing, it can take like normally around 2 weeks to get like one of the bigger videos done.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a smaller thing, it normally only takes about a week.
Yeah. That's about right. I think I remember Russ mentioning like of certain videos take him like almost like 40 hours or something like that. Like he's just putting in so much work into these things. So when you're getting that detailed, that's usually how it goes. So major props, major respect for that.
Video is a whole different ballgame because you have to capture the footage as well. If you'd like talk about a certain level, you either got to source it off someone with their permission or literally jump into the game. And it's like the same with handhelds. You got to put hours and hours into it to find the breaking points in the areas that a typical customer won't find.
Yeah, I feel like for you, Brandon, you probably have to get your handheld completely set up every single time you do a new review first. So get it to a working status, and then you actually have to test out a ton of different games and just to see like what actually happens with those. Uh-oh. Looks like we may have lost Rob.
Rob's disappeared. He's jumped ship already. He's been here 2 weeks. He's like, I'm done.
He's like, I hate this.
I'll message him.
Sorry, Rob. We'll just keep going without him. We'll just keep, even though he's the PSOne expert, we'll just go without him.
I'll keep rolling then. So one handheld that I'm testing now is the Retroid Pocket Flip. It's the new clamshell one. You know, the one that flips. It's like the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, but in clamshell version.
Yep.
And I want to test the hinge. Everyone's been asking about the hinge with any like clamshell device. You want to know how kind of strong it is. So I've requested the Go Retro team to send me another one that I can purposely snap. I want to see like how much force I can put on the hinge for it to snap. And then you can see like where it's going to snap. Because if I was to buy something, I want to see where the hinge is going to break first or where the breaking points are so I can maybe not hold it there or maybe not sit on it. So that should make for a good shot, I guess.
Did you ever have a friend or did you ever break one of your DS hinges? or
no,
Game Boy
so I only
Advance
had the
SPs?
original DS, and then I went straight all the way up to the 3DS when I was
3DS.
not too long ago, really.
I never ended up breaking mine, but I had a few friends that had theirs broken, and it was the saddest thing in the world because like it was still attached, but like the mechanism that would hold it in place had just completely given out. So it was just this floppy mess on top, and like it was just so sad. They're like holding it, it just like wiggles around, and you're like, dude, that's just get a new system. They're like, no, it still plays.
And the pen, the pen that came with the Nintendo DS, I reckon the first week that would disappear. It would just go whoop into you, like, oh, that ain't gonna be found anytime soon.
It really
Same
is.
with the cartridges.
It was tiny. They're all tiny. Yeah, the pen for the 3DS was a little bit bigger, right? Like that was a little bit better. Was it the 3DS? Did the 3DS even have a stylus? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah.
Gosh, it's been so long since I've touched a 3DS. It's been at least like 6 years. I sold mine when Pokemon Sun and Moon came out, so maybe a little bit later, actually, probably like 2018. Yeah.
I've been looking around for one when me and Rob, if he ever returns, when we went to Norwich, the LL event. I was trying to keep an eye out for 3DSs, but they're quite expensive now. I don't know if it's because the eShop hype. But who knows? Rob just messaged me, said he's trying to connect.
Okay, let me see if I can
open the door.
I'll usually get an admit notification letting me know that he's trying to jump in. If you want to, let me see if this works better. You can try sending him this again. I think it's
usually the same link, isn't it?
It's the same link, yeah, but I don't know, maybe that one was bugging out for him. There he is.
Oh, there he is.
There we go. Okay, it would be me.
Rob, welcome back.
Finally, it's not me.
Don't know what happened there. I have got no idea what happened there. My internet didn't go down or anything, so I don't know. Well, I'm back. Hello.
Are you hardwired?
No, I'm just using Wi-Fi, but it's normally pretty good.
I think we've learned just from our experience so far that because I am literally across the ocean, that being as like internet solid as we possibly can helps sometimes. So if you have a way to hardwire, that might help. But if not, no worries. We'll just wing it. Brandon, I think, is also on Wi-Fi, so I don't think it's been a major issue, but that should help.
I'm all the way in the attic at the moment, so I would need a very big wire.
Yes, or just have the company come back out and install a new input and just have your own.
Yeah.
Fancy.
I wonder if they'll be able to do that right now.
Maybe not. But we just finished talking about just random stuff for the DS and OLL. You guys were talking about you were looking for 3DSs and whatever else. But we are going to just introduce you now, Rob. Now that you're back on the podcast. So, Rob, you started Pixel Pursuit in 2016. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, at the time I was also running a blog. So although that was the official start, I would say I didn't properly start committing to the video side of things until maybe 2017, later on in the year.
Oh, okay. Well,
was it a retro gaming blog?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was called Rob's Retro Reviews at the time, which is what the channel was also called back then. But I later rebranded to Pixel Pursuit even.
Nice. Why Pixel Pursuit? I was pretty obvious, but did it?
Yeah, I mean, it's because like sort of the thing with the channel is that I'm always kind of like looking for new experiences to do with games. So it's like I'm pursuing pixels that I haven't seen before, I guess.
Always in pursuit of the pixels. I love it. Because yeah, one could hear that and be like, are they trying to like maximize the graphical capabilities of this? You know, are they trying to like look for the pixels literally in this game? Have you ever done that before?
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of.
Wow. Well, you could do an analysis on pixels one day and be like, this is the actual Pixel Pursuit video. We're pursuing pixels in this video. And then I saw recently you do some streaming on the side, right? You do a little bit of streams here and there. Recently you were streaming Bloodborne.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've been meaning to go back to that for ages. I'm so bad with being consistent with streaming. I just get distracted by loads of other stuff. But yeah, I was trying to do Bloodborne without leveling up, and it was actually going pretty well at
That
the
sounds
time
terrible.
as well.
I don't know. I don't know how you would do that. That sounds awful. I mean, I guess it's just a lot of rolling, a lot of dodging, and getting those parries just right.
Reminds me of that scene from Dodgeball where it's like dodge, duck, dip, dodge, and roll, and then they throw a crank at him or something. Great movie.
That really is exactly what it's like. Every time I watch someone do like a no build run, it looks terrible because they're like running around and they're like their underwear just getting obliterated by these disgusting monsters. I'm like, that really would be like a true nightmare. That is a true nightmare.
Yeah, I'm not that insane. I still wear armor and stuff. It's just the leveling up that I'm avoiding.
Nice. I respect that. You're also a fan of manga. What's a manga recently that you have picked up that you've been pretty into?
Oh wow. Well, I say recently, it was a while ago now, but I've been reading through Berserk, and I've now actually finished it. I've got 13 of the massive deluxe volumes, which is pretty insane. It's quite expensive to get those as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my main recommendation. By far my favorite one.
Berserk. I feel like manga's had kind of a pickup too in the US at least. I don't know how it is over there. But my friend and I, when we were in Tokyo, we went to like one of the largest like manga stores in Japan, and it was very overwhelming. There was every single floor was like a different category or like a different type of manga or anything you could be into, and so we found ourselves on some strange floors. Let me just say that I was like, where are we? What is happening on this floor right now?
That's crazy. I would probably like to visit that. Was all of the stuff in Japanese though? It would probably be difficult to find what you're looking for.
Yes, but I did find a Legend of Zelda manga, and I was like, "This is sick! I'm picking this up." So I bought that. I can't read it. I don't know what's going on, but it looks cool. Ganondorf's in there. He's in full manga style. So I was like, "Nice,
good pickup."
Yeah.
As someone who's a noob at this kind of stuff, what's the difference between anime and manga, or is manga just print?
Yeah, manga is basically a comic book, whereas anime is like a animation.
Got you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of anime are based off
I'm
manga.
big into, or not big. I used to love Dragon Ball Z back in the day, but I was never like a comic kid really, probably because I couldn't read. But I think the school used to force me to read, and I was like, nah, I don't want to read that.
That's what comics are good for, though. You don't have to read too much because it's mostly just nice pictures.
Pow, bang, and slice.
Exactly. Just like that. Well, what's funny is did you guys have like AR points, like reading points for actually like reading specific books in school?
I think we did something similar to that. Yeah, we had like reading levels, I guess.
Yeah, so we could like pick certain books, and it depending on how like thick the book was or how high the vocabulary was in the book, we would get more points for reading it. And then at the very end of the year, we could exchange those points for like there's like a little like pop-up bookstore that came to the school, and you could like buy, erasers or pencils or a new book or whatever else with the points you'd earned. And so I like really stacked up on like the biggest books that we had at the time. So it was like Harry Potter, Aragon, just like a whole bunch of like those like fantasy series. Lord of the Rings was a little too hard for me to read. I was like, I don't know what's going on in these yet. But at the time, yeah, I was
still Harry Potter's. There's some big books.
Yeah, but they aren't like that hard to read. I mean, at the time, that was like they were coming out like as I was going through elementary school. So I was fully in. Like the movies, I think, were just about to release. So I was like, this is the best. So just like that.
It's a pretty good incentive to get you to read as well. That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, dude. Come on. Erasers? Mechanical pencils? I mean, what more could you want? Those little silly bands you slap on your wrist? The best.
I just pictured you just sat on a throne of erasers.
Do you see? Do you see what I have achieved? All right, and then Rob, real quick, we want to know what's your favorite game of all time and why?
Well, it would be a bit of a boring answer to say Bloodborne, wouldn't it? At this point,
No.
But yeah, it probably is Bloodborne. But if we're ignoring that for a second, my second favorite game is probably a game called Inside, which is made by a company called Playdead, who also made Limbo.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Extremely good. Probably one of the only games I would say is pretty much perfect. You don't really have anything like negative to nitpick with it or anything.
Yeah, Inside's kind of a spooky game too, right? But it's a little bit more like suspenseful. Like the entire time you're not really sure what's going on, and then it kind of reveals itself as you move through the game. And it's a platformer still, but it's like a difficult platformer, right?
Yeah, it's referred to as a cinematic platformer, which is like inspired by like Flashback and Another World, the Oddworld games as well.
Makes sense.
So, it is kind of scary as well. I would say at some points it actually does have a couple of jump scares, but for the most part, like you say, it's kind of like suspenseful more than anything.
What console did that release on?
It's on pretty much every modern console. So it's on like the Switch, the PS4, Xbox One, like everything like that. PC.
It goes on sale a lot. So I actually have it. I just haven't finished it yet. I liked Limbo. I just need to get back to Inside. I have a few friends that have also said it's excellent. So I just need to do it. I just need to get through it, you know.
It's only like I don't know, like 3 hours long as well. Like and the ending is amazing. Amazing. Worth experiencing. Yeah.
That's what I've heard. The ending is nuts. Okay. And then favorite system or console of all time?
Again, given the topic of the video, this is probably a boring answer, isn't it? But it's the PlayStation, the PSOne, my favorite console by far.
And why would that be?
I think it's just got such a big variety of games that are all like classics. Like a lot of them are being remade as well, so you can sort of experience them on modern consoles now as well. But I think it's always worth going back to the originals. Very often they're better in a lot of ways, I find.
Right.
But yeah, you've got like Tony Hawk, you've got like Crash Bandicoot, you've got Spyro, you've got Tomb Raider. The list just goes on and on.
Was this your first console also? I think I remember you might have mentioned that. Yeah, the PlayStation.
Yeah, it was. Closely followed by the original Game Boy, I think. But yeah, PlayStation was my like only home console for quite a while, actually.
So you went PlayStation 1 then almost back to the old DMG?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Nice.
I also, shortly after that, I got my Game & Watch systems as well. So yeah, I was going back from a very young age.
Yeah, that's impressive. I feel like the PlayStation had the best startup sound of the 90s. Of those first run of consoles, I loved the PlayStation startup sound. I thought it was so cool. I still think it's so cool whenever I hear it. So good choice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's I don't think any other console really comes close. I like the GameCube startup sound, but the PlayStation startup sound is just so atmospheric.
I have a soft spot for the PS2 as well. The PS2, just that like, ethereal like loading in screen. Just you're kind of floating in space.
The amount of times I've like slept to that sound just playing in the background in my room, just like dreaming about it.
Memory cards, they're corrupt. I gotta fix them. All right. Well, that's awesome, man. Rob, thank you so much for letting us introduce you on the podcast. We're going to jump over to a little bit of housekeeping first. So, Brandon, why don't you tell the good folks what they need to know about a handheld history 88 to 95?
They don't need to know much. All they need to know is you need to buy one. It's now fully funded, so it's coming out in Q4 of next year. It will be shipping before Christmas, so it's like the perfect Christmas gift for anyone into handhelds. Done.
Love it. Beautiful. Buy one. Just freaking do it. All right.
Do it.
And then also write into Retrospect or retrododo.com or respond to our polls on Spotify or just engage in comments on YouTube, like so many of you did for our most recent episode with Russ from Retro Game Core. This was a really, really nice one. It said, "This was a fantastic show. You are all so talented in and out of the gaming community. Russ, you have done so much, dude. Thanks for an awesome podcast, brothers." And then flame emojis at the very end.
So nice.
It's really class it in.
Russ has got such a nice community, and he's just such a genuine guy. Like, you can't, it's hard to hate him.
Right. I don't think anyone does hate him. I'll be surprised if someone does. Maybe someone who's like, I don't know, who does the exact same thing as him, and they're like, I can't compete on his level. Maybe something like that. Something like that. But yeah, please leave more comments like that. Review us. It means a lot, and we'd love to hear from you. So let's jump over to the topic of the show now. Rob kind of hinted at it a little bit. We talked about it at the very top. We are talking all about the PlayStation, specifically PlayStation 1 games to get you started. And these aren't like a definitive list. I think, if you were talking to a full panel of judges, they might give you a very different list than what we're about to give you probably. But these are games that we really enjoyed when we played them, or we just have reasons for liking them. So we've picked 2 each to kind of keep this segment a little bit under time. And we'll just talk about them as we go through them. So I don't know, Rob, since you are the PlayStation expert and our guest, would you want to go first on this list talking about your favorite or one of your 2 games you'd recommend?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so the way that I approached this was like, if somebody didn't know what the PlayStation was, what would I say are the best games to get them into it? So the first game that I think is a really good one to start off with is the original Ape Escape, which is a series that is like really, really like underappreciated nowadays. I think it's due for like some sort of sequel or remake, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reason that I think it's so good for newcomers is because it's not particularly difficult, and it also does a really good job of showcasing like what the console can do, especially because it relies on the DualShock controller, which is one of the only games to actually fully utilize that on the PS1. But yeah, I think just like the progression in the game is awesome with all of the gadgets you unlock and stuff. Yeah, it's just pretty original as well. Because the thing with Ape Escape is that the main collectible is also the main enemy. So there's like some kind of like gimmick there that makes it more interesting than a lot of other platformers.
Keep your friends close, your enemies closer.
Wow.
Definitely.
Yeah, I remember loving this game. The DualShock, I think I didn't realize this until later, but the PlayStation came out initially without the DualShock, and then they added that later. And was it specifically for Ape Escape?
No, it was Ape Escape was one of the it was the first game to actually require it, but other games were compatible with it. It's just that you could also use the D-pad with those other games.
Okay, but Ape Escape you could not.
No.
But yeah, the right joystick was what controlled the net, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, it controlled all of the gadgets, in fact. You had to use it in like different ways depending on the gadget. So like you had this hula hoop where you had to spin the right analog stick to activate it, and then it made you run fast. And yeah, stuff like that.
So you had to buy the new controller to play that game?
Yeah, and in fact, a lot of people have had this experience as well, where they had the demo for it, but because they had the original controller, all they could do was stand there in the first level and just like equip different gadgets, but they couldn't actually move or anything.
Wow.
I think you could jump.
I wonder if that like restricted sales a little bit. Because I can imagine parents being like, that looks cool, I'm going to buy that for my kid, and then all of a sudden, the kid can't play it.
Yeah, I imagine that was an issue. Maybe that's why the series hasn't done particularly well.
Imagine.
They released it at a time when no one actually had the controller. I mean, yeah, that's a bold move. I mean, no other console manufacturer really, I feel like, has done that, where they've released their console with a standard controller, and they're like, all right, but if you actually want to play this, you're going to need to buy this one instead. Like maybe Nintendo with the add-on for the Wiimote. Like that's all I can think of. The Wiimote,
or like the balance board, I guess, for like Wii Fit, maybe. Yeah, there's not very many examples of that.
But you had, I mean, I guess you're right, but like Ape Escape was the one that needed it. But I'm just thinking like that was for one game. Like if you want the Wii to play Wii Fit, like it almost always came bundled with the balance board, whereas this is like, here's this game, you're not going to know you're going to need a different controller until you buy it. You're like, oh, dang it.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably says on there like, please buy the DualShock. But
I think it does actually, yeah. But still, a lot of people probably wouldn't have paid any attention.
No, I wouldn't.
No, I don't need.
I just spent a lot of money on the PlayStation. I should be good. This thing's got so much processing power. Yeah, I would not have thought about that. Well, good choice. Good choice. Brandon, what's your first pick?
It's got to be Croc, Legend of the Gobos. It's like a little bit left wing, like Croc never picked up because of Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, but they're almost like identical in every way. It's just like a 3D platformer in a way. You save these little fluffy kind of ball things, and you're fighting bad guys and kicking ass through different levels. I don't know if it was like the soundtrack that got me, but it pulled me in more than Crash Bandicoot did at the start when I first got the PlayStation 1. Eventually, I went over to Crash Bandicoot because, word of mouth, and Crash had a way better line of games on the PS1. But there was something magical about Croc. And I didn't know until recently that Croc was originally launched on the Sega Saturn. I thought it was originally launched on the PlayStation 1, but I was wrong.
Legend of the Gobos or Gobos.
Launched in 97. It's a stunning little game.
I was gonna say it looks a lot like a Rare game almost. You know, it has like you're just 3D platforming, collecting stuff, running around. Does Croc have any cool moves? Does he have any cool moves you can do? He's got a backpack on. It looks like
you whip his tail. That's pretty much it. You know,
that is pretty much it.
Yeah, you're jumping, you're hopping, and you're whipping. Dodge, duck, whip.
Did you ever play the second Croc game?
No, I didn't, and I think this was when the transition happened. I just went straight to the Crash franchise.
Okay.
Never looks
as much as I love the first one, I actually played the second one again, like reasonably recently, and I now actually prefer the second Croc game.
Oh, really?
Pretty good. Again, it's much better if you've got a DualShock. The analog controls make it a lot better. It's like I'm trying to sell it to everybody.
I got shares in it.
Yeah, buy a DualShock, please. I need to feed my family. Yeah, it looks about the same, but this is definitely, I feel like the second is always a little bit better in most instances for video games. Not always, but usually pretty good. Speaking of second instances, though, I guess I'll go for mine first. So mine would be Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, or what was it called in the UK?
It's called Europe? Gateway to Glimmer.
Gateway.
In Europe. I don't know why they changed it. It's like the word rage is offensive over here or something. I don't know what the deal is with that.
We don't want to rage out over here. So again, another 3D platformer, but one that I feel like was a lot. It was so much more different than anything else that was out at the time. And I think the ability of like getting new power ups, being able to fly and like charge, and it's basically like exactly like Crash Bandicoot, or actually no, a lot different than Crash Bandicoot. I'm thinking of Banjo-Kazooie, but it's like similar in that way. Like the animations are very similar, but this is actually from Insomniac Games, who Sony now owns, but they're the folks that make like Spider-Man now and like make incredible games. But yeah, Spyro like always captured my attention. I just love the music. I love the world. I love being able to light things on fire and just run around and do stuff. So definitely a game you should check out if you want to just kind of see what platforming was like when the PlayStation first came out. So this one came out in 1999. What a time! Right before the millennia. Wow,
such a good franchise as well. Like as Rob said previously, the PlayStation had such a cracking library, you know, and Spyro was probably up there with one of the best. And I'm reading now that Spyro 2 sold 3.4 million units. That's ridiculous, and won a ton of awards as well. Yeah, well deserved.
Well deserved. What do you have? Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, or Glimmery
Glim.
Glimmery goodness.
The Glimmery Glimpse. All right. Rob, how about your number 2? What would be your next throw out?
So my second one, I've kind of chosen this because the PS1, I feel like it doesn't have that many multiplayer focused games. It has a few, but like compared to the N64, which was kind of more built for multiplayer, having like the 4 controller ports. It had like Super Smash Bros, Mario Party, that sort of stuff. But yeah, probably the best multiplayer game on the PS1, I think, is Crash Team Racing, which of course is a spin-off of the Crash Bandicoot series. Basically a Mario Kart clone, I guess. But I mean, I would argue that it's better than Mario Kart, especially the Mario Kart 64, which was its competition at the time. But yeah, what's so good about this? Not only does it have like the normal racing like Mario Kart does, but it's also got a full-on adventure mode. So it's kind of like got the single-player focused component. But yeah, it's got the multiplayer on top of that. And yeah, it's just amazing. The drifting mechanic gives you just way more control than the Mario Kart games did at the time. And yeah, just felt a lot tighter, I think.
Drifting was so hard in Mario Kart for like the longest time. As a kid, I could not wrap my head around that. As I got older and I played it a lot more in college, it like clicked with me. But like in the original Mario Kart, it is so hard. Even still, I'm just like, this doesn't feel good.
I don't even bother with it in Super Mario Kart. It's just not worth it. I just go everywhere.
Absolute garbage drift mechanics. I know they remade Crash Team Racing recently, right?
And it's
They
pretty
did,
good.
yeah.
It's pretty good. I've played a little bit of it, and it was superb. I don't know if you call it a remake. Probably, yeah, remake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
remake,
technically also a remake of Nitro Kart, which was the sort of sequel to Crash Team Racing.
Yep.
But, yeah. As much as I do like the remake, I don't think it's as good as the original, for the main reason just being that the microtransactions kind of ruined the remake.
Mm.
They just made it so that you unlocked stuff at such a slow rate that it just kind of ruined the balancing of it a little bit.
There was a lot of customizations in the game as well. They almost kind of forced you, like, hey, you want this new skin for your wheels or your cart? Buy it.
Yeah, that's not a good experience. That'd be like if Mario Kart had microtransactions. I don't think that would go over very well. Yeah, interesting move. But so yeah, hey, there you go. The better experience is on the original PlayStation hardware. So check it out and get a DualShock while you're at it.
Yes, it is compatible with it. So yeah, you could.
There we go. All right. Well, speaking of Crash, Brandon, what's your next one?
Crash Bandicoot, the OG, the one you see me test on all my handheld reviews. For me, it was like the first indication on like how hard video games can be. The amount of, and I think it was the start of my my gaming rage and my rage quitting days. It started from a very early age. But there was some levels. There's ones where you're hopping on like this fence and you've only got like 2 seconds to jump onto the next one, and then you fall all the way down if you miss. That was the start of me wanting to complete games to the end to kind of boast to my friends or show them how quickly I could get through these levels face to face. Like, come round, I can do this level in 1 minute 30 and collect all the apples. So for me, Crash Bandicoot is one of my favorites because I could just show off.
That is impressive. I distinctly remember how hard Crash was. I was like, dude, I suck at this game. Like, I don't think I made it past like the first section, like the first area. I could beat like the first like few levels, but I just never could get past that whole game. I'm sure I could try it now and be like, okay, maybe I can do this. But as a kid, that game whooped my ass, man. That game was hard.
It's because you didn't have the DualShock, DualSense.
Now, in this case, I don't actually think the first Crash Bandicoot game is compatible with it. So you're out of luck there.
Shoot.
I think the sequels are. 3 definitely is. I know that.
Don't even think about trying that with the DualShock, man. You're going to mess yourself up. All right. Well, my last one is super out of left field as well. Not as out of field maybe as Croc, Legend of the Gobos, but it's up there, man. So mine would be Legend of the Dragoon. So in a world where Final Fantasy VII is sort of the defining PlayStation RPG that you should play, there was another game that came out called Legend of the Dragoon, and I think that it's a better game only because of the combat. So this was like one of the first games that I had seen that had used QuickTime events in the middle of the turn-based combat. So what would happen is you'd encounter an enemy, you would start the battle, and same thing, you're standing kind of parallel to the enemy. You have your team, I think, of 3 or 4 people, and you're all dragoons. So you can, kind of like Power Ranger-esque almost, where you can like, you're a normal person, but then you can summon the dragoon basically and turn into like your version of the dragoon. And so the main character is red. He has like a red dragon. He has like fire stuff. And then you have a guy with like a staff that has like a really cool dragon. And there's a female character that's on your party, and she has like a greenish looking one. So anyways, they can all like power up. And when you do these attacks with your dragoon, they're like quick time events. And so they look really cool. Like you're like flying all over the place, and you have to like hit square at the exact time or X, and it like makes it do more damage. And what I like remember the most about this game was that we got the PlayStation 2. We never actually had a PlayStation in our house. We had a PlayStation 2, and we played a whole bunch of back catalog PlayStation games because that was the PlayStation 2 had that. And so this was the only game we had for like a few months. We just had Legend of the Dragoon because my brother was like, we got to play this game. It's awesome. And so we literally just ripped through Dragoon, a non-PlayStation 2 game, for like forever. And it was one of those ones that was like 3 or 4 discs as well. So it was just it was a huge game. Maybe not 4 discs. I don't know. I just know it was like multiple discs we had to insert to play it. and I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
I don't know if it's just Europe or the UK in general, but I can't remember playing The Legend of Dragoon. I don't know about you, Rob.
I definitely never played it. I was never really that big into RPGs, but I have heard of it. But yeah, I've never really looked into it all that much. But now after your description, I'm going to have to look that up after this.
Check it out, man. It's really interesting. It did come out later in the EU, it looks like. It came out in 2001.
Wow, a very late release.
Sold more than 1 million copies worldwide, with most of those sales coming from North America. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what happened there. It says January, released in EU, which is never a good time to release a game. People going on save mode then.
We're on save mode now, but yeah, I mean, it was a Sony published game, Japan studio. They were the ones that developed it, so it's definitely like a high tier developer. They just, it's just a weird side game that kind of got overshadowed, I think, by Final Fantasy VII, which maybe to some rightfully so. That game's incredible, but this one just for some reason really captured my attention. So yeah, there you go, guys. There's our definitive list of 6 PlayStation 1 games you should absolutely check out. I would say most of these are actually really good, but I feel like Legend of the Dragoon probably would be one that maybe I wouldn't start with. But I mean, we have the 3 on there. We have Ape Escape, we have Crash Bandicoot, and we have Spyro. I mean, what more could you really want to start out on PlayStation 4? Maybe Tomb Raider, something like that. Maybe Final Fantasy, I guess. But overall, I think this was a good list. How do you guys feel about our list of 6? Would you give this to somebody and say, hey, here, play these?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I probably would. I mean, I can't speak for Legend of the Dragoon, but the others are all pretty solid. Yeah. I would probably say maybe check out Croc 2 over Croc 1. Croc 1's a little bit maybe dated by today's standards with the like tank controls, but a lot of PS1 games were like that, to be fair.
How dare you?
How dare you stick to your DualShock
It's still great.
controller?
How dare you say that about my Croc Legends of Gobos?
It is still a good game. I really like it. It's just it's a little bit dated with the controls.
Rusty.
A lot of these are dated. Yeah, that's the hard thing with PlayStation graphics is going back to them. You're like, ooh, okay, my brain needs to like readjust to the time frame that these came out because like they're so polygonal, like they're all like very pointy and like sharp. But there's some charm there too. There's some charm in that. All right, and then the last segment. Well, moving on to this, Rob, I want to know, what are you playing?
So I'm playing a bit of a weird thing at the moment because spoilers, I guess, for an upcoming video. I'm doing a video on hacking my 3DS and like what you can actually do with a hacked 3DS. And so one of the main things that I've been playing is a mod for Mario Kart 7 called CTGP7. And what this does is basically adds in like 50 brand new tracks, like loads of new characters.
50?
Basically like,
Nuts.
it basically like triples the content in the game. It even has like online support as well, which I've been messing about with a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. They add in like 200cc, a mission mode, a new multiplayer mode. Yeah, it's ridiculous. The ambition behind this mod is insane.
Wow, that's sold me already. I want to hack
Yeah.
my 3DS. I don't even have a 3DS, but I want to hack it already.
Yeah.
Before I even buy it, I want it hacked. Now, Mario Kart 7 was awesome. I loved Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS. So the fact that they have modded this to that extent is pretty awesome. I feel like it would probably be very fun. I look forward to hearing more about that.
Yeah. Look forward to the video, everyone.
Little foreshadowing. Brandon, how about you, man? What are you playing? What are you looking forward to?
Same as last week. I'm just trying to plow through it. I didn't have a lot of time this week as I was at a corgi cafe, as I mentioned previously to this podcast. My girlfriend took me to a cafe full of like 50 corgis, and we took our corgi, Pippin, and Pippin just didn't like it, so he just wasted £50 and paid like £5 for a puppuccino. Like, it was just a rip-off. But anyway, going off track here. I'm playing Scarlet and Violet. I've just finished the last gym, and now I need to make my way into Area 0, but I need to defeat the guy with the dog. I totally forgot this. I literally played it last night, and he's really hard. He's got like level 60 Pokemon, so I need to buff up a little bit because I don't usually cheat. I just try and like, break the system a little bit. So I just went and caught a Dragonite pretty early. or a Dratini and kept evolving it into a Dragonite. So I have this buff-ass Dragonite that's just like taking me through the whole game. And now that I'm coming up against Pokemon similar level, I'm struggling. So I need to do some farming. My Dragonite can't do anymore.
Got to go out there and fight some Chanseys.
Yeah.
I think that's what I used to do. Those give you like 2,000 experience per. Or I saw some method that you could like glitch the not rare candy. I think Stardust would translate into you being able to buy candies or something like that. And you could do like the picnic thing and it would like duplicate the items for you. I don't remember the glitch, but I saw it and I was like, nice. I'll do that eventually.
Well, this is all going way over my head. There wasn't this when I was playing Pokemon, I'm pretty sure.
What was your last Pokemon, Rob?
Properly, it was probably Gen 3, I guess.
Oh, wow. Wow, it's changed a lot since Gen 3.
It seems like it, yeah. All these picnics and dust.
Picnics and fairy dust. Yeah, it's definitely, I would say Scarlet and Violet's great. I need to finish it too. I want to go back to it. I just haven't yet either. I haven't been to Corgi Cafes to keep me away from that, but also I love, don't you guys just love that we have names like Puppuccinos now? Like, do you imagine our ancestors just coming back to see what we're doing? And it's just like, we're taking our dogs to a cafe with Puppuccinos.
We went into like a pub and there was a menu on there for dogs. I was like, I'm like, what is this rubbish? And Kate goes, oh my God, I need to buy some. There's like £3.50 for like these like chicken balls. And I was like, that'd be quite cool if they came out on like a little plate and like Pippin could like eat them on a plate. And it came out and it was just a packet of treats, man. And she threw it on her table and charged us £3.50. I've never trusted this industry again, man. Keep your puppuccinos and keep your chicken balls. You know,
I would have expected it to come in a bowl. Like that is a bit of a rip-off.
Yeah.
Well, are you saying chicken balls or chicken bowls?
Balls. They're like balls that like chicken and like...
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Like little meatballs. Just little chicken meatballs. Gross.
Now, a chicken bowl would be interesting.
Yeah, dude.
They could eat the bowl.
It's a bowl made of chicken. It's like, sounds incredible. Wow, it's so expensive. They could drink water out of it and then eat the whole bowl.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's just like so many like guys with their partners just sat around drinking pints in like the corners of the bar. We're all just looking at each other like, what have we done? We just paid £3.50 for a chicken ball.
Well, what did Pippin think of the chicken ball? Was he?
It was just a packet of treats. There was no chicken ball. It was just a packet of treats that I paid £3.50 for, and they were £1 in the shop next door. And boiled my blood.
Hey, nice pun. That was terrible. Oh, that's awesome.
What you been playing, Jake?
Yeah, man. So I finally finished Resident Evil 4 remake, and it's so good, dude. I am so happy to have finished it, and yeah, I am looking forward to Kena. That game came out recently on the PlayStation Extra tier. I've been waiting for a long time to check it out. It looks like a Pixar movie, so for me, I'm like, yeah, this looks like up my alley. So playing that and still some more Wild Frost. I streamed actually some Wild Frost yesterday. I tested out my my new setup here and had a ton of fun. I put a little clip up of me just making a terrible mistake and losing, but it was a fun time. Just check it out.
Have you dropped difficulty? Or are you still
staying with it, man? I'm stubborn. I was like, I started on this difficulty. I'm just gonna figure it out. And I got to tell you guys this. I got so close to winning like 2 days ago. And I'm an idiot. And I wasn't paying attention. I was literally on the last boss, last hit. I was going to win. And for some reason, I was like, oh, I'm going to play this careful. And I like switched things around to where I hit the boss. He got stronger and he killed me. And I was like,
oh, no. It's when they get stronger, isn't it?
I just forgot about his strength and thing. There's like so many things to pay attention to on the battlefield, like all these little like buffs that they have. And I am an idiot. I was so mad. I was like,
what's your like go-to buff? I know there's like you can poison, you can increase strength, defense. Don't know what your playstyle's like.
I really like the I guess they call them teeth or maybe just thorns. I don't know. It's the one where like if they hit you, you do damage back to them because you have like a certain amount of thorns or teeth on you. And there's one card that like will continually add teeth as the round progresses, and then you have this other guy that adds like another buff to that. And so all you need is like two of those guys and then like somebody healing them consistently over and over and over again, and then like basically the field just kills itself usually. So that's my buff, healing and the thorns. But yeah, they're all good. You find combos that work, and you're like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
We're creating a few guides for cardgamer.com when we launch in June for Wild Frost. Emma's going through that, but if she needs any advice, I'll chuck her your way, man.
Yes, please do. And if she needs like gameplay or anything like that, I already have some stuff I've recorded, so I can just shoot you guys some stuff that I've recorded.
Awesome.
Sweet. All right, well, folks, that is unfortunately all the time that we have this week. Listeners, what are your go-to PlayStation games that you would recommend? Let us know by writing into Retrospect at retrododo.com or commenting in your preferred listening channel. Thank you guys so much again for your time. Brandon, where can the folks find you on the internets?
Retro Dodo everywhere, and you can also take a sneak peek at our upcoming website at cardgamer.com.
Oh, yeah. And Rob, how about you? Where can folks find you on the interwebs?
So on Twitter and Instagram, I'm Pixel Pursuit Rob, and you can also find me on YouTube. I'm the video producer at Retro Dodo now, so just find me over on Retro Dodo.
Hell yeah.
Exciting times. And for me, it's just BitBloggist everywhere. BitBloggist. Until then, catch you in the next episode.